This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 466 for the week of Monday, April 24th, 2017. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And on today's show, we have very special guest, translator for One Piece and Weekly Shonen Jump. We have Stephen Paul with us. How's it going, Stephen?
It's pretty good. It is very busy.
Cool.
And Stephen, you have a little bit of news. You got a really awesome translating job over the last week.
Well, yes, to announce, yes. I've been working on it for a little while. We are re-releasing the Battle Angel Alita, the original series, not the sequel Last Order. I'm guessing it's probably in commemoration of the upcoming film. And that is another one that was way back in the 90s with the left to right and everything retouched. And we're going to be doing the proper right to left Japanese sound effects, etc., etc. And I'm retranslating it. So that's been cool.
So as you were saying, it's an upcoming live action movie coming out next summer, directed by Robert Rodriguez and produced by James Cameron of Avatar and Terminator. So that could be good. So.
Also on the show today, we have Twitter sensation Casey, also known as Minovsky Article. How's it going, Casey?
It's going great. I am excited to announce that I'm going to be live tweeting the hell out of that new Battle Angel Alita release. That is one of the finest sci-fi action comics of all time, and I'm really excited that it's coming back out.
And
I just watched the OVA for that last couple weeks ago.
Cool. And last but certainly not least, we have our merchandise reporter, Kelly, with us. How's it going?
Hi, everyone. Pretty good. Happy to be over my jet lag, finally. I was a bit of a mess for the past couple weeks.
So, yeah, Kelly, you were in Japan, which whenever that happens, we want to hear about it. So how was your trip?
It was great. It was short this time. I was actually there for a friend's wedding, so just Tokyo this time, but really fun. Checked out a lot of stuff. Was over at J-World, Tokyo, and a couple other random places. Ate at a lot of themed restaurants. If you see my Twitter feed, there's a lot of random snacks shaped like very cute things on there.
So I assume it was a Whole Cake Island themed wedding that you went to.
If only. And I'm really mad that I missed that thing that opened up in Odaiba. It was the day I was leaving.
Was there a Whole Cake Island themed something at Odaiba?
They have a huge exhibit there near the jump shop. So it's all of if you've seen anything on Twitter with like the giant 3D Big Mom and that Sanji cutout with the congratulations, and he's all in his little wedding tux, which I'm super mad because I could have taken a picture next to that. But that's all there. And I think it started on April 9th and goes through May. So if you're in Japan, I strongly suggest checking out Odaiba. They have like a whole Totoland theme going on over there.
I mean, if you're a One Piece fan and you don't go to Odaiba, there's usually a disconnect there. There's usually some really cool stuff over there.
Yep.
There's the United States of Odaiba, I know. I went to back in 2013, but who knows what things are like now in the future. Kelly, you also wanted to mention some cool stuff that's going on at Tokyo Tower coming up.
So starting on the 29th of April, which I believe is this Sunday, we've got two new changes at the Tokyo Tower. The first is the third live show, which is called Phantom. And according to the site, it's Oda supervised, or at least he provided some feedback on it. So that's starting up this weekend. And then the really exciting thing is a 20th anniversary art exhibition that's going to be at the tower. And it starts on the 29th of April, and they say late July, which I have no idea what that means. But I'm hoping
the hottest time of the year.
I'm just hoping that it's still there when I go back in July. So that's going to kind of dictate my travel, depending on if they give that an end date. But I kind of got the impression that they might be doing this in a phased approach, and there might actually be two parts to this exhibit.
That's very cool. Hopefully, some of our fans, and you included, Kelly, will be out there to tell us all about that. So I also want to mention Alex was just recently on a podcast talking about One Piece, but not this one for some reason. Ed, do you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, he's on the Saturday morning cartoons, morning with an OU, talking about episode 3 of One Piece. They're a sort of a nostalgia podcast for cartoons, and Alex went on the show to talk about sort of getting new fans into the show, and this particular early episode of it, so that was episode 148 of the Saturday Morning Cartoons podcast from, April 10th. So go check it out.
And so that's the Luffy backstory episode.
Right.
That's a good one. That's a good one to introduce people to. Yeah. We also have some sad news, extremely sad news. For those who have listened to our podcast from the beginning, you will know that Ed Blaylock has been one of our, if not our favorite American voice actor, certainly, and one of our favorite voice actors in the One Piece dub. And unfortunately,
whether you listen to this show or our old Full Metal podcast, we raved about him there as well.
Constantly. Unfortunately, we learned that he had passed away on April 19th. He played Sengoku, for those who don't know, in the One Piece dub. He played Führer Bradley in Full Metal Alchemist, and he has had many, many other roles, as well as a career in radio. We send our condolences to his family. If you want any more information about that, you could check out the website or ANN. And in much better news, the new episode titles and voice actors for Pudding and Big Mom have been unveiled. And we're going to be talking about that in our anime recap, right, Ed?
Yeah, it's at the end of the anime recap, and just to give a preview, a couple of Fujikos. So I like the choices for these new voices. It's a replacement voice for Big Mom and the new actor that we found out for Pudding. So.
And I hear Oda himself in the author comments for this week's Shonen Jump was also excited to hear Big Mom.
Yeah, he's big. He's tune in. Basically, was his message.
And she is a legendary actress, but who is she? Find out in the anime recap. Right. So we'll get to that, but we also have a manga recap for chapter. This is 863, and the name of that is The Honorable. We're going to be getting into that in a minute. We also have our Patreon segment and Piece Together and a lot more. So why don't we get started? You guys ready?
All right.
Mm-hmm.
This is the manga recap for chapter 863, The Honorable. This week we have a lot to talk about before we get into the actual chapter. I first want to talk about the cover page of Shonen Jump, which involves a lot of random characters holding up random things on their hand. Steven, can you shed a little light onto this? Or it's this...
Well, there's a game that you play. There are 3 different options that you do with your hands, and one beats the other one, and then that one beats the third one.
Is it rock, paper, scissors?
Yes, it is rock, paper, scissors.
Am I just an idiot not forgetting for not getting it? It's because usually when I do paper, I don't go like, hey everybody, like I don't do like a 5 out like that. And same with scissors. I mean, it looks like Luffy's just doing a peace sign there.
Yeah.
And Sanji's doing like a backwards paper. None of that makes sense. I'm sorry.
Well, the US cover is also edited down to just being the series that the US Shonen Jump has.
Right.
Sure. It's a much bigger cover.
Sized according to importance.
My Hero Macadamia is doing much better lately.
That's what I call it.
No, I stole that from you, Ed. So it's only fair. Thank you, Stephen, for your cultural insight as per usual. Mm-hmm. And I apologize for not knowing what rock, paper, scissors was. Good start this week, guys. Why don't we get into, I guess you could call this a color spread. Ed, what's going on?
It's a big poster with every character that appeared in last character poll, with the straw hats slightly larger and Luffy over the top of it. So, yeah.
So,
it's cool.
We got challenged by a random fan, and when I get challenges from random fans, I take them 50% of the time.
Ignore them?
Oh. And the challenge was, if you don't name all of the characters during your podcast on this page, I'm done telling people that that your podcast is worthy to listen to, or something along those lines. I don't have it right in front of me. So I figure let's do a little compromise. I'm going to have each of you pick a straw hat, and you will have to name all of the characters around that straw hat. I'm gonna actually pick them for you by what I think your favorite is anyway. And before we actually get started, Sam Leach, our anime recap host and ANN reviewer, has joined us for our manga recap as well. Hey, Sam.
Hey,
How's
I
it
snuck
going?
in.
Yes, you did.
My throat's a little iffy right now. I don't know why. I think I'm getting sick.
Great.
But I can't not talk about this chapter.
So
We're
that's
excited to have people who are excited about the chapter on the show.
Oh yeah, and actually, before we get into our challenge, you also wrote a lengthy editorial about last week's chapter, which you could read at OnePiecePodcast.com. Are you doing the same for this week's?
I was considering it. I mean, like if I get most of my thoughts out in the in the podcast here, then maybe I'll just ditch it. But I did start a post in the back end of the site. So.
Yeah, I saw the title and it made me laugh. Okay, so why don't we get started? I'm going to assign you each a character. You have to name all the characters around them. Ed, name all the characters around Zoro.
All right, so starting from the top left, that's Margaret from the Amazon Lily, Miss Monday, Munda the Shark, a member of the Foxy Pirates. Those are the Risky Brothers from Lola's Pirates.
Yeah,
they don't have individual names.
I don't
They're
know.
just the Risky Brothers,
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, Britchie the Lion.
Yay.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that kid is in the bottom right. There's Pierre the Horse Bird.
I thought that was someone's leg. I'm looking from far away, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool.
The Minotaur from Impel Down. The Minokoala from Impel Down is also there, and that's Charlotte Cracker and Blackbeard.
Oh, you got Blackbeard.
Is there a reason why Blackbeard's in black and white?
Probably because he was lower on the list the last time they did the character poll and they didn't get full color.
Oh, yeah, that's probably why there's some.
I was wondering if maybe it was because we hadn't seen his post-time skip design yet, or...
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that was just my guess, but it could be that too.
You can definitely tell. You see all the black and white ones, and those are the characters from this arc predominantly who have not been colored by Oda before.
Predominant.
And these are from the digital colored editions, aren't they?
A lot of them.
I think they are, yeah.
Casey, I'm going to give you the most badass of characters, especially this week, Brooke. Let's see how you do here. I know you're a more recent fan than the rest of us, so.
Yeah, and I really rushed through this, so I did not take enough time to memorize a lot of these minor characters.
How dare you?
Yeah, okay. I recognize Drake. Is that Drake in the lower left-hand corner?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, and there's Helmuppo on the top left.
Mm-hmm.
And then one of the Vinsmoke brothers.
Niji, I think?
Yeah, that's Niji.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guy who turns into a wolf from Impel Down. Not Impel Down, Water 7.
Jabra.
Yeah. Jabra. The art lady that I forget her name too.
No, I don't see her there. I think you're thinking of
Miss Merry Christmas.
Christmas.
Oh wait, yep, I'm thinking of one of the
I don't know a few of these people.
Real clerks.
Yeah, there's a few Whitebeard ones. I'm trying to
that's Laboon. Oh god.
At the top, yeah.
I was actually going to say that one because that's one I did know.
I was trying to figure out what that was. I stared at it for like 10 seconds. I'm like, is that a person?
Yeah, and I do recognize some of these other folks as like Whitebeard crew members that I couldn't tell you the names of. So sorry, I am a fake One Piece boy, but I love Brooke.
Yeah, I don't even know who the one at the in the top middle is next to Laboon. I don't know who that is.
He looks like a Shandorian.
Maybe.
Okay. Stephen,
no, he's got to be from the Frankie family, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Stephen, you're the translator. I'll let you pick your character.
What?
Or, no, Robin. You should be Robin.
Okay, Robin.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, I'll start from the top left corner. Foxketeer. I don't know if he had a real name.
No, Randolph.
What?
Randolph.
No.
Isn't that?
Is that Randolph? I thought that was one of the
Randolph.
I thought that was one of the dog keteers from Zoe.
No, I think that's Randolph.
This
okay.
Is auspicious.
It's too small. Yeah. Then we have I think that's Halta from the Blackbeard or the Whitebeard captains.
You got me.
Hammond, Fanami, fake Nami.
Well done.
Masira, Metalbeard. I don't know who that is.
I don't know who that is either.
Oh God, what was this guy's name? Vista. Yeah, that's right. I knew he was the captain.
He's got that mustache.
Bartolomeo, or no, that's not Arlemus. What's his name? Hyrodin, Neptune, Galette, I think.
No, is that Monet?
Yeah.
No, that's
from Gold.
One Piece Gold. Yeah.
Oh yeah, right.
Scarlet? Is that her name?
Baccarat.
No,
Baccarat.
Yeah.
Scarlet is from
the lucky one. And then Nico Olvia.
Okay. Let's see. Kelly. Sanji.
You know who I want, of course. Okay. Let's see. Koala, Jesus Burgess, no idea. Kuina, Kumashi, Crocodile, Inazuma.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Sheep's Head.
Yep.
Yes.
Koza. No idea who the blonde is. And
Kaya?
it might.
No.
I can't tell. And then I think it's Koshiro, right?
Kuina's dad.
Or was it Kojiro? I forget.
Kojiro or Koshiro. That's Zoro's teacher, right?
Yeah.
Kuina's dad.
Cool. I think that's one of the mermaids, the one you couldn't name. And then that Hercules-looking guy is one of the Whitebeard guys, right?
Ah.
I want to say the girl with the mermaid with the blue hair. I want to say her name was Ishali or something like that. She has freckles.
Right. Oh, and I think the Whitebeard guy is Atmos, maybe.
Atmos.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So who's the blonde girl?
I thought it was Kaya. I could be wrong.
No,
I see where Kaya is. Yeah.
Sam, for many reasons here, you'll see why. I'm going to give you Nami.
Okay. What's this guy? This guy in the top left.
This guy does not have a name, I don't think.
He looks so familiar. Okay, I don't know the Amazon Lily Girls.
He's from one of the 5 Elder Stars.
Yeah.
He has a name.
So I wouldn't know his name.
No.
Is this Oishi?
You mixed them up. You mixed them together.
Oimo?
I
cannot remember.
Oimo and I'm happy we did this.
They are tasty.
Gecko Moria, Karu, Mr. One, aka Daz Bones. Do not know who that guy is in the bottom right.
Yeah, I have no idea. Is that one of the 5 fish riders?
I don't know. Then this Vice Admiral whose name escapes me. Onigumo.
Yes.
Mr. 5. Is that one of the kids from Punk Hazard?
Yeah. I don't know the name of that. I don't know the name of any of the kids from Punk Hazard.
And then our good friend Cesar Crown.
No, that is actually Gangster Gastino. Come on.
Gastino. Gastino, and right above him is Galdino.
That's why they're next to each other. You guys choose one for me, I guess.
You get Frankie, Zach.
I get Frankie. Let me scroll over there. Big Mom, a.k.a. Charlotte Linlin Hody Jones, who I'd like to forget. Sandra Sonia? Is that the one? There's 2 of them.
I can't remember which is which.
Sandra Sonia and Marigold. I don't know which one's which.
Oh, yeah. McKinley, right? That's the guy's name?
Yeah.
Wow. That was a good pull from Lashes. Wait, I have to look at this one close. Oh, yeah, that's
I can't even see who that is.
Is that the guy from
kind of looks
filler?
like Rockstar, but
he looks like the guy from the film Gold one with the thing, the guy who was enemies with Nami or something. I don't know.
Mad Treasure?
Is that?
Oh, maybe. Was he on the color spread?
It could be like a design drawing from Oda.
Maybe. This is that guy from Dressrosa. Mockface? Is that?
Yeah.
Wow. My favorite, and I can't remember his name. Wait, the dog from Skypiea.
It starts with an H.
Holy.
It's
I got it. Yeah.
Jotaro's mom.
Long legs, sexy McLonglegs. What the hell's this guy's name?
Blue Gilly.
It sounds
like.
And Napoleon. Alex is killing me right now. I feel it. Hero Luke is above him. Her. Jesus Christ.
I know this one.
Yeah, I know. Everyone knows. I'm having a mind fart right now.
Give it to him, guys.
Oh, Hina.
Okay.
It just took me a second.
It's not your fault. Oda also forgot she existed.
And Akira Toriyama forgot all of these people existed. Anyway, let's move on. Talk about the popularity poll a little bit. You could vote on Shonen Jump or at shonenjump.viz.com for the American version of this. But if you were in Japan, they do this every year. Luffy wins every year.
What? No, they don't. They've done it 6 times.
I'm sorry, not every year. Every 6 times in 20 years, they do this poll. And you could check out how Carrot's going to win, or do a lot better than well, it's about the same as you'd imagine. Anyway, we have a chapter.
There's no way Boa Hancock's going to be this high next time.
What was Boa last time? Sorry.
Who's 10th?
She might be. She has a following.
She hasn't been in the story. That's why I hope Law goes down as well.
I assume Sabo is going to take a little bit of a plummet as well.
Yeah, pretty much. Characters who aren't in the story I don't think stay as high.
Yeah.
No.
It'll be interesting to see what
time
happens
is
like
now.
Zoro.
By the way, this color spread comes from an event. I think it was also in Tyrannosaurus, the color walk. This was a huge canvas painting that Oda put together for this event. I can't remember what the event was off the top of my head at this moment. But why don't we get into this chapter, because we have been stalling long enough and most of the people listening have already stopped listening. Ed, what's going on in the front page?
Well, we go straight into the chapter because there was a color page. So we start off at Bedge's hideout about 3.5 hours earlier. And Bedge starts a mirror inside the wedding cake. And Luffy's like, yeah, see, if you put a mirror inside it, we can just bust the cake straight from the mirror world. It'd be cool and funny and sweet. Get it because it's cake. It's sweet. Anyway. Is that Brûlée? She says, yes. Stop being ridiculous. You want to destroy the wedding cake? You have no idea how much Mama's been looking forward to it. Like that wouldn't encourage them more. So Luffy, just oblivious, continues on. You were able to multiply Nami and the others in the forest, right? And she's like, huh? And Chopper fills it in. Yeah, Brûlée is able to take the person reflected in the mirror and superimpose them onto someone else, showing the superimpose the way that it works. And she's like, oh yeah, what about it? We go to the next page.
So we have Luffy wheezing, going, look what I caught, turn all of these guys into me. And another amazing facial expression by Brûlée. Every single chapter, she's just looked more and more horrified, yelling, what? And we then see Bedge going, are you done? Preparations are all complete. Now at the wedding ceremony, people just burst right out of the cake. And Mama is still shocked as we see a bunch of Luffy's jumping out. And the best line, I think, this is one hell of a show. No, Dufel, this is big news. That's one of the worst generation pirates. So not only is it him saying his name, but you got a good Futurama sound there.
I think we learned throughout this chapter that's just straight up his catchphrase.
Yeah, it's like you saying your nickname every time you walk into a room.
I love Big Mom's stupid face in the bottom right panel.
Oh,
she's
absolutely.
But once again, Morgan's stealing this chapter already. Please keep going, Kelly.
It's Straw Hat Luffy, and you've got these great facial expressions on all the faux Luffys with their animal sounds. But why is he here, and why are there so many of them? And one of my favorite panels, I think, in this chapter is the toppling wedding cake. Run away, the cake is toppling over. What's with these guys? And if you see a very scrawny and conspicuous Luffy in a fedora falling over on the lower right-hand side there.
Kind of looks like the Operation Ivy logo. If any of you are famous little punk music.
It does.
He's skanking.
He is.
What is happening?
I also like the one that. I also like the one that's writing one of the crosses like a torpedo.
Yeah,
like Tao Pai Pai.
Wow, yes.
The Tao Pai Pai cake. Casey, what's next?
So yeah, we check in with Sanji, who will not be appearing much this chapter. Hang on, Pudding, it started. This will all be decided in an instant. You can do it, Luffy, as they're leaping away, and he's rescuing Pudding from the toppling cake. And of course, we check in with all of Big Mom's goons, with Juice and all these people. I thought Straw Hat Luffy and his people had died in the prison library. What is this, Mont d'Or? So he was lying. Opera was trying to cover his own rear. Opera lied, a cake died. And then we go to Big Mom, looking at just the chaos and her ruined cake. Straw Hat, Luffy, are you kidding me? My cake, my cake! And we get her weeping with these radiating lines that are probably just really intense noise. I was looking forward to that. Mama, remain calm. I understand you're upset, but run for it, head chef. Mama's acting strange. Bring me a new cake. We can't. Life or wedding cake. Wow, that's her sole pocus. What a scoop. She's going to take their whole lifespan. She's speaking directly to the human soul's fixation on its own life. If they fear death even for an instant, there, see? Yank! And of course, this isn't funny, but I like that Morgan's has, presumably, he has lost any regard for human life at the day that Mr. Hooper died.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Stephen, missed opportunity. It could have been what a Coop.
Jeez.
And he's taking pictures, isn't he?
No,
he's just sparkling.
He loves it. He just loves it.
No,
he is taking pictures. It says click. I just noticed.
I just thought he was so excited that he was glinting.
Also, again, just Oda has been really killing it with just how much he can do with Big Mom's face. Mm-hmm. And the panels of her powers working as the chef's souls leave their bodies look fantastic.
Also, I didn't notice there are actually transponder snails with Morgan's that he's taking pictures with. If you look close, you learn new things.
Oh
yeah. Steven, you want to keep us going?
So now we see this event from the backside, from the mural world, where they are just kind of shoveling all of the animal Luffys through the mirror. You can see Caesar's holding the butt end of the net that they've been holding them all in, and just go. And they're watching the effects of this gambit. Big Mom's furious out there. And it looks like it's pretty desperate here too. This is having more of an effect than we expected. And we get this great shot of the mirror here, where Brule is tied up in the corner to ensure that the Luffys can pass through the mirror, and she's weeping, swearing her vengeance. And Jinbei, is that all of them? And Pedro says, that was the last Luffy. And so having deployed all of the Luffys, now they are ready to jump in after them. Jinbei and Pedro are leaping in to give Luffy some backup. And on the next page, the other group, the cute group, is preparing to join the fray as well. Minami wants to help save Sanji. Carrot is all ready to she's ready to rock. She's got her earplugs, and Chopper is repeating their part of the plan, which is to rescue Sanji's family. And as they jump out through, they're the last ones to jump through the mirror here. They call out a reminder. Nami, I think, is saying, remember, you're part of the plan, human scum. And I'm assuming this is Carrot who is saying, wow, is he really that bad? Since she hasn't been around for all of the misadventures of Caesar. And Chopper is just like, he's the worst. And they have this amazing panel. It's just he's the gift that never stops giving.
He got his feelings hurt.
Yeah, Caesar is just he's not even speaking he's not speaking in words, but you can tell that the sounds that he's making with his mouth right now are just because he just sobs in
he became
fury
Gollum suddenly.
Yeah, it's in fury and indignant impotence. And
how do the Japanese sound effects? Because you wrote hic here, which makes me think that he's choking.
He's sobbing. Yeah, he's
stifling sobbing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so now we go back to the outside, the mess of the cake here. And Mama is now she's kind of on the move. She's taken the lives from the chefs there, and now she issues this ultimatum: anyone who steals my pleasure from me gets their life taken from them. And we have a little flashback. This is a line from Fishman Island when she had her first interaction with Luffy over the phone. I will remember that name
like yesterday.
Monkey D. Luffy. And so now here he is, but she can't tell which one is him. Which one's Straw Hat?
Yeah.
We go to the next page.
And I just want to say that bit of brulee there, I imagine that sounding like Lucy Ricardo. It's like, wah! Sorry. Anytime you write out wah like that, I just think of,
I mean, her especially.
Yeah. Anyway, so we were flashing back to the initial encounter over the transponder snails during Fishman Island, and he says, "Now come to the new world. It's you who failed to become king of the pirates. Here I am picking another fight with you. I'm not backing down just because you're one of the four emperors. I'm going to take Sanji back, and at the end of the day, we're going to win." And so the cake is toppling. The call comes out, I guess, from the crowd there. And Big Mom again insists to know, which one's Straw Hat Luffy? How dare you ruin my wedding cake? Oh, idiot. This is the version. She really thinks she's going to get an answer? Of course he's not going to come straight for her. It's me!
That's an interesting Luffy voice there, man.
Well, his mouth is full.
No, it was more. I can't. Go ahead.
I'll crush you, worm. Yeah. A flock of straw hats covered in cake. And Luffy calls out, "There's the picture frame. This should be easy." And Capone again with his inner monologue. He's like, "Vito, God, are you ready with the launchers?" I guess he's sort of whispering it, or he's just thinking it. It's interesting.
Yeah, sometimes he does that for whispers, which is a little hard to understand.
I think most of the time when it's this kind of thought bubble, it usually is whispers in One Piece, and if it's thoughts, it's going to be those like word bubbles with like the star burst look going out.
He's talking to them from inside his body. He's
true. That's a good point.
That's why it's thinking.
Well, no, it's probably whispering. It's like, "Hey, Vito, got it. Come on." Where are you?
But he can only hear it inside of.
Or
I mean, he can like summon a version of himself inside, right?
Who knows what he's doing here? Yeah, I mean, he can, but who knows what's going on here?
Yeah. They respond, "Yep, ready to do lunch at any time, Godfather."
And we go to the next page as we now head inside of the cake. This is Cakeception or something. I don't know why anyway. And we see, what are we calling this? The Q trio at the moment? So Nami is telling Carrot and Chopper, so once Luffy breaks the picture, we're going to jump out 3 seconds after that. So take it seriously, guys. And Chopper and Carrot say we will as they stuff their faces full of cake.
Just one more for the road.
Just come on. I mean, this is delicious cake. I'm not wasting all of this.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, a lot of juxtaposition here. Big Mom summons Zeus and Prometheus, who look equally as enraged, and I really like this panel because it's both somewhat comical almost and also really intimidating. And we see Zeus with the power of electricity and Prometheus with the power of fire.
Obviously.
Well, look, just for those new listeners who don't follow Greek mythology. Anyway, Luffy is ready to fulfill his portion of the mission as he prepares a gum gum, but we don't find out what that gum gum is because he gets gum gummed himself with a bunch of what we find out later to be mochi. And we find out that this is, yes, indeed, Katakuri, who predicted something would happen here. And Mom does not look happy. I really love... this is just a very different looking page. I just want to start out by saying, because we have Katakuri juxtaposed in the middle there, going through essentially all of the panels of the pages with his leg raised, and this is the first time we also get to see his devil fruit power.
And also a guy creepily just staring up at his dick. Like, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I was not really a fan of this layout. Just like the weird. Like, I understand that it's kind of hard to draw like his leg extending like this, but I mean, Oda does it with Luffy all the time. Like, that's basically what's going on. It just seems very like cut up into in weird, like not fitting together pieces, and I don't know.
Perspective wise, this is also the smallest Big Mom has ever looked.
Also fat. Yep.
Yeah.
I do like them looking up from the plaza. I think that's a really cool shot, personally. Anyway, we find out that this one is the real thing. That this is the real Luffy, as Katakuri exclaims, the rest of them are just animals altered by Brûlé. And Luffy's like, what is this? I'm stuck in it. What kind of power is this? Anyway, we go to the next page, Steven.
And Big Mom is actually, she's kind of furious that Katakuri has stepped in and taken the initiative. Do you think you're helping, Katakuri? You're my son. You don't get to call the shots. And Katakuri reveals that no, he wasn't. He was not going after Mama. He was going after Mother Carmel's picture. And, you know, we have the little image that Katakuri presumably saw with his observation hockey. And that is a shocking revelation to Big Mom. She just kind of pauses in her tracks like, oh. And Katakuri wants to know, how did you know it was important? This is something that only the family really understands. As Luffy kind of hangs up in the air, and Katakuri demands, "Speak! Who told you?" And he's ready to slam Luffy back first into the ground. And as this is going on, you know, people are running out of the way, and we see Capone is right there at the edge of the panel, and then he's thinking to himself, "Damn, the plan's been stopped in its tracks. We gotta smash that picture." It's going off the rails here, and Pedro prepares to jump in. He's Luffy, but Jinbei has got this, and he uses one of his moves, which would normally be called Sea Current shoulder throw, but in this case it is T current shoulder throw. As he throws, he hurdles. Actually, technically it was ocean current shoulder throw, but I was like, okay, well, this is literally, it was a 1-to-1 pun if you call it sea current, because that was the joke that Oda was making with the T. So I was like, okay, I have to use this.
Ocha ocean? Is that?
No, it was.
No? Okay.
So he literally he used the kanji for T, but he had them pronounced as like sea current. It was basically Jinbei was saying it as the same thing as his old move, but Oda was adding different kanji to it. Okay. But I was just like, okay, well, there you go. Now it's T. And then Katakuri, seemingly out of nowhere, says, "Don't explain my powers to them." And then we see the T current hits this blob that Katakuri has been using to torment Luffy, and Luffy just squirts right out, and the projectile falls, crashes to the ground, and Jinbei explains, which Katakuri had been warning him not to. Katakuri has Logia powers. It's the mochi mochi fruit, which okay. First of all, mochi, as many people know, but I'm sure not all, that is a particular type of rice dumpling that people in Japan eat. I'm not sure how that is a Logia power, but I guess we'll just roll with it.
Wait, how would it not be a Logia?
Because it's not like a natural element. It's like a foodstuff. But
I mean, like, I don't know, like swamp. There's lots of examples of like weird Logias.
Swamp is naturally occurring. I hate to tell you.
Mochi is naturally occurring rice.
Well, I guess.
I wish.
I guess technically, I'm like, well, Cracker had the biscuit fruit, but he didn't actually define it as one of belonging to any of the three particular types, right? So, I guess that could still work, but it seems very weird to me. But anyways, so the joke here is that mochi is extremely sticky. And in fact, it is a natural hazard. Like it's a thing that every winter when it's mochi season and you eat it, especially around New Year's, there are always like, I'd say about a dozen or so like senior citizens in Japan who die from choking on mochi.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's the thing. It gets stuck in your throat. And what's the perfect thing to wash it out is a nice cup of tea. And so that's basically what Jinbei did here is he loosened Luffy out of the sticky mochi with the tea, and that's what he says that's what he means when he says you can escape if there's enough moisture, just try not to touch it. Jinbei has made his appearance, and the crowd is like, "Oh, that's Boss Jinbei," and Jinbei fesses up. He says, "I am the one who told Luffy about Mother Carmel. Anyone in your operation hears the rumors." So he's kind of he is being a feint, a decoy here to draw their attention away as Capone watches.
Casey?
So we get a really nice set of Big Mom and Jinbei stare downs in these next couple pages. Wait, you decided not to leave me earlier, yet now you're sticking up for the cake wrecker? Shall I take this as rebellion? Please do. I wish to join the Straw Hat crew. You do? And of course, Luffy is the most delighted to hear this.
He'd asked him to do it like 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, to be fair, that was like a month ago.
That's big news. Jinbei, the former warlord, joining the Straw Hats? Do whatever you want once you're gone. But not before you've paid the proper price. You don't want to live in shame, do you? No, if you promise not to harm anyone aside from me, I will offer you as much of my life as you can take. Jinbei dooming.
I really am looking forward to your one-man show, Casey.
Can we just appreciate too the Luffy animal? I think it's a monkey, but who knows? Taking the crown off of Giberson's head in the background there. That's pretty good.
Yes, that is really good. It has to be a monkey, right? But it's making a cat noise too. I don't know.
There's multiple sounds.
There's a few sounds. Yeah. Maybe it's like a cat-monkey hybrid. That's not
so we go back to Luffy forgetting he has an actual skeleton in his crew yelling, "What do you mean, Jinbei? You can't join up if you're dead."
Joe.
Lifespan is my favorite. I didn't realize you hated me so much. You'd rather choose death than stay in a place you dislike? Well, you'll get no sympathy from me. All right, dummy, you've got a deal. Stay or life.
Look at that.
I love this panel so much. Yeah.
The harsh
There's a lot
lines
of
on
great
the
Big Mom
bubbles.
panels, and that one is just the scale of it too.
Yeah.
Jinbei's blocking it, but she's holding a flashlight beneath her chin there.
Which one?
and of course, Jinbei chooses life. Whoa, is Jinbei going to? And then nothing happens, and Big Mom is very confused by this, and so she repeats herself: "Stay or life." Nothing. Hang on, his soul ain't coming out. You're kidding me. He's not even the teensiest bit afraid of Mama.
Sam?
They're also confused.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we turn the page, and let's see if I can get my Jinbei voice out here. A man who would be crewmate of the future king of the pirates cannot afford to tremble in the presence of a mere emperor. And Big Mom is shocked to hear this, and he is continuing to say, "If you will not take my life, then I will return your ritual cup." Who do we know these people's names? I know Alex wanted to bring up.
I mean, obviously, as Alex did put it, he knows the names of these. It's Elf Woman and Porchemia Penis Face. Yes.
Porchemina Penis Face.
Porchemina. Yes. I messed it up. There we go.
She looks just like him.
She really looks exactly like him.
So we're in this kind of this great pause where everyone's just sort of shocked that one, Big Mom's powers aren't working, and two, Jinbei's just being a total badass. And he's putting his cup down. He's saying, "As of this moment, I quit the Big Mom Pirates. I appreciate all that you've done for me," which is just the fact that he's being polite about it still is also just, as Chopper says, that was so cool.
I like the idea that Jinbei just carries the little cup around. It's sort of like, how we were joking about how Doflamingo has his like family murdering gun. I feel like Jinbei just has his like oath swearing cup here that he does for displays of honor.
Yeah, I'm sure that cup's going to come back when he officially joins the crew. I think that's going to be like Oda's signifier for like
she
like really official now. Well, I mean, he's going to have another cup. I'm just like the idea of like sharing ritual cups has become more common in One Piece since the time skip. I think like since the Aesop Luffy thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's like his go-to now for these big like official gestures and whatnot. So yeah, as Zach said, she steps on the cup. smashes it with her high heel and says, "God, congrats, Jinbei. That makes you an enemy now." And she's going at him with Prometheus, and Luffy's shouting, "Hey, that's a cheap shot." But off in the corner, when everyone's distracted, I guess this is another one of them Luffy animals that
I think that's
that didn't get caught.
I think that's the Saitama version of Luffy.
This is the Tootsie Pop Luffy.
Yes.
So yeah, when I first saw this, I thought like there was another character who had toy powers or something like Sugar, but no, it's just Brook with like a bag over his head with a weirdly drawn Luffy drawn over it. And he's sneaking up over the Mother Carmel picture with a hammer, and he smashes it. And he says he ends the chapter off with a little yo ho ho, and it's to be continued as we have succeeded in breaking Mother Carmel's picture. What's going to happen next? How's Big Mom going to react?
So that concludes the chapter. I think that is conclusively the greatest end to any chapter in One Piece. Do we have anyone disagreeing with that? I didn't think so. Before you could even say anything, Stephen.
Yeah, I mean, let me think about the other 863 first.
So, yeah, let's see what we all thought about this chapter. Casey, you want to start us?
Sure. Yeah, this is a very good chapter. The focus is intensely on the things that we all kind of wanted this to be, which is, hey, Big Mom is really, really being a villain here. And hey, Jinbei is joining the Straw Hats. Or we hope that that's what's going to happen anyway. Who knows where this is going to go? And also, this is the year of Brook. Brook has made out way better than Sanji in this arc. I think he's had some really great he had that great stare down with Big Mom much earlier in the arc, and now he's the one that smashes Mother Carmel's picture. Just some really, really dynamite art in this particular chapter, especially all the stare down panels with Jinbei and Big Mom. Yeah, just really, really impressive stuff. I am curious though, because we know of Big Mom's powers and also what Brook has just done, whether or not her ability would present any actual physical threat to Brook, since it is all about pulling souls from things, and that seems to be the only thing that can actually do him any harm. But then again, he's already faced her and not been afraid, so who knows?
Yeah, and the whole like soul stealing power being based on fear, like that means her power's not going to do a whole lot against Luffy.
Yeah, well, yeah, and it wouldn't do anything against Brook, because why would he fear death? You know, he's already
dead. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I think on impulse he fears death, but in practice.
Well, to that I would say that, it really depends on would Luffy experience the fear of losing his crew or something if something else should happen in this arc.
True.
Because that could be the weakness. That is his proven kryptonite. But anyway, yeah, great chapter. I have no negatives about this one.
Kelly?
So I also absolutely love this chapter, and I think the panel that summed up at least the past couple weeks for me is Nami just going during the plan, because everything you could possibly not think of happening during a wedding ceremony has been going on. I love the fact that Brook has done so much. I think it's really cool to see him kind of getting a chance to shine, because I don't think we've really seen that in a while. And I'm still trying to figure out where the Vinsmoke family is in all of this mess, because I think their seat is right in front of this cake. So I think
they're going to be like
they're coated. Yeah, I suspect they're coated in cake at this point. But, super exciting to have a new crew member joining, even though I know they'll do something a little bit official later. But it's been a while since we've had that happen. So that's a really nice feeling. And I love that everyone's eating the cake except for Mama.
Steven.
Yeah, I did really enjoy this chapter. I felt like the, in terms of execution, it was kind of a carryover from the last chapter, which I had criticized because I felt like it wasn't kind of treating the moment with the tension that I felt like it deserved, and it kind of just went right into hijinks in a very sort of Oda typical way, and I thought this was much better suited to that sort of stuff when we actually see everything just kind of devolving into chaos and all of the different shenanigans going on. It was good. I had kind of an interesting my reaction to the big centerpiece moment at the end of this chapter was kind of the inverse of how I felt about the Sanji and Pudding scene in the last chapter, which is that in both cases, like Oda, he laid the story foundation for it, in the sense that, okay, so the last chapter, we knew that Pudding had at least some kind of another side of her personality, another emotional side to her, based on seeing her flashback stuff. We didn't quite know what to make of it, but that would kind of have hinted at her having a susceptibility to something of that nature. So I was like, okay, well that makes sense, but I didn't like the way that he executed it, and it felt like it didn't quite have the effect for me that I think he intended it for it to have. In this case, again, he Oda set up the whole soul power thing earlier in this arc. We saw the way that Big Mom's kind of lifespan stealing power worked in the scene with the death of Charlotte Moscato, Minister of Gelato, and so we knew that was part of her power. It was some facet of her power. But I feel like fundamentally, to me, this may just be me, but I felt like this was one of the most transparent examples of Oda being like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna make up this side facet. I don't think there's anything about being able to take someone's soul that necessarily naturally follows is oh, well, if you're not afraid, then she can't take your soul. It seemed like a very random thing for him to have made up. And so it seemed like a very transparent, okay, I'm going to use this so that Jinbei can get out of trouble. When I saw it happen, I was like, okay, that seems a little weak.
Well, it was definitely sorry, Stephen, to interrupt. It was definitely in the chapter with Charlotte Moscato, Minister of Gelato.
Exactly. No, that's that. They said, "Don't be afraid, or she'll take your soul."
Right.
That's what I mean about he laid the groundwork for it. I feel like the concept itself was very corny and kind of out of left field. But I was like, okay, but if you execute it like this, if that kind of transparent mechanism was designed to let Boss Jinbei be a fucking boss in this moment, I'm like, okay, you win. Welcome aboard, Jinbei. That was so cool.
I mean, Jinbei has done more than enough to prove himself too at this point, I feel.
Yeah, but this was just okay, that was super, super awesome. And it was a case of I guess Oda kind of doing his honorable Jinbei, the sort of mafia boss type guy who does what's right for his honor, et cetera, et cetera. This was a case where I felt like that it works on me. Sometimes it doesn't, but I thought it was awesome. And then just to have that followed up by this unexpected moment from Brook was just an amazing clincher for the end of the chapter. And great finish.
I mean, his personality really shines here, and I'm going to keep saying it. I would not call him Boss Jinbei. I'd call him Lieutenant Worf Jinbei. Till the end, just me.
I didn't think about that till Steven said it, but this is definitely a Yakuza guy leaving the family scene.
Yeah, yeah, 100%. Sam?
This is probably my favorite chapter of the arc so far. I'm just... a lot of what Steven said is in line with how I felt, just unbelievably awesome Jinbei's moment is. And it's just also, it's packed with, there's the Brook thing at the end, and then just I can't help but love the little Caesar cry face. I'm going to believe whatever I want to believe about that one. I like seeing more about Big Mom and Katakuri and how their relationship works. I like seeing Big Mom actually get mad that she's not being the boss in that moment, or at least she doesn't think she's worried that she's not the one being in control there. And I love how Katakuri, because when we saw Katakuri's power, or we saw him last chapter, and it was a little underwhelming because it felt like they were just immediately overcoming his greatest strength. But then in this chapter, he snaps right back and is a badass again. I'm excited to see where Capone's going to go now, because he seems to be just as blindsided by all this as we are. I'm not sure how he's going to adapt or like what this means for like the plan in general. But yeah, like I'm just so excited to see, because I've not been current long enough in One Piece to like be there for a new crew member joining. So like this is like a pet thing for me where like I really want to see this, and I think new people joining the crew is like one of the best ways that One Piece was constantly like staying fresh pre-time skip.
I remember the debates between who would join, Frankie or Polly. That's
I wasn't there for that. Like like I was catching up like just as Enies Lobby was ending, I think. But yeah, I'm so excited to see Jinbei join the crew. I'm going to keep my fingers crossed that Oda's gonna overpay on this one and give us multiple crew members.
Ed, what did you think?
This is a very badass chapter. Like everyone gets to be like total badass, especially like Big Mom gets to be over the top and evil. Like we're really selling the fact that she is the ultimate evil person in this arc. But nothing's really resolved. You don't even see her in this chapter, so that's going to be unresolved until next week at the earliest, along with the Vinsmoke angle.
Or the week after, because Golden Week.
Is that? Oh yeah, it is. It did see it was a double issue this week. So yeah, as you guys said, Jinbei being awesome. It's like Oda's art was really on point, I felt, in this chapter. So it's always good when he's sort of hitting his stride. He did a lot of great shading work with Zeus and Prometheus and Big Mom. And more than just the art, it was his timing and sort of placement, I think, was really on point. There's more than just the art. The composition was on point. Just for the conclusion of the chapter, like the way it's sort of shown in two panels of Brooks sneaking in from the side and then just I could just see him like sneaking up behind it and with a short hit just smashing the picture in a very cheeky manner. And I enjoyed that quite a bit. But yeah, you guys pretty much mentioned everything that I wanted to get out of here, but Katakuri, like there's something going on there. I'm not quite sure what it is. We still haven't seen his face. He still kind of looks like a generic anime guy, but I feel like there's something going on deeper there. I'm excited about Jinbei joining the crew, like the rest of you guys are. As I said, it's been 5 years. Mm-hmm. I'm not really sure about the rest, any other crewmates joining. I feel like the sort of the Mink are going to be like, they're in the alliance. They're federated with Straw Hats. I'm not sure if any of them are going to join. I don't think Caesar would either. He's going to stay where he is after this.
I feel like Caesar might just be working up to like when he finally gets loose, it's going to be in the most glorious way possible. That he's just like going to ride off into the sunset with middle fingers ablaze.
That's
getting his revenge.
He's going to have some turn of. I don't think he's necessarily going to become a good guy, but like I really feel like he's getting set up to sort of change priorities. Like I think we're going to be faced with like a situation where he cares more about surpassing Vegapunk as a scientist than he cares about being than he cares about being evil.
Yeah. I just want Caesar to hang around as the Straw Hat's pet failure. Like we don't get enough Buggy, so having Caesar around just to play that role is good.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there's a few things that we haven't touched on that I want to mention. First, are some kind of hangovers from last week. Steven, I think you mentioned, I'm positive you mentioned last week, the fact that all the running through the mirror world stuff kind of destroyed last week's chapter. And I feel like this week, if the stuff that came here at the beginning also included some of that, it would have been a lot more, it would have been a lot cooler. And that's, the thing is, that's usually what Oda does. Narratively. So it's a little weird that he didn't this time. And he even kind of did do it, but then he went back and I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, it was clear that he wanted to like build up like, okay, Luffy's going to make the Straw Hats are going to appear. The Straw Hats are going to appear in that chapter until, it finally happened. But it just felt like it was misplaced.
I think part of that is also that we do this show every week and we kind of had an idea of how he was coming out of that cake.
Sure.
I also want to mention Pudding briefly. I think that's on like the third page when Sanji brings Pudding, jumps off with Pudding saying, "Hang on, Pudding." I think that kind of ruins my idea that Sanji had more malicious motives here. It also makes me a lot more anxious about what she's going to do next. I think the fact that she doesn't appear in this chapter is extremely telling about her, the evil, chaotic kind of potential here. So I'm feeling a little bit better already about last week, just because we haven't seen her. And I think the longer we go without seeing her, the more tense I feel about what is about to happen involving her. This was a great chapter, though I felt at times it was kind of all over the place, which I think Stephen kind of mentioned. Some of the organization was a little weird, but I think it has some of the most exciting scenes so far in this arc. I think Jinbei and Brook are definitely the MVPs of this chapter, and I agree with Casey that Brook is probably the MVP of this arc, if not definitely.
I think Big Mom is a third runner-up there.
Yeah. And Morgan's is obviously up in that running as well.
Right.
Opera, on the other hand, not doing very well.
No.
Morgan's just went without saying.
Yeah. Of course. He's got all the big news, as he's fond of mentioning.
What a scoop.
What a scoop. What a coup, I still think is... Anyway, this was just a really fun chapter. I think Big Mom is being built up more and more as a really interesting and fun villain. And I am so interested to see the chaos that is about to be unleashed in 2 weeks. I just can't imagine what Brook's little act there did. I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think is actually going to happen?
I mean, I kind of see it going down to the way they thought it was going to go down. Like she's gonna lose her mind. Like she's gonna be uncontrollable.
I mean, the thing is, so far everything has just worked out the way kind of that they were planning. So something has to go wrong.
Well, it hasn't gone the way they were planning. It's worked out so far, but it hasn't gone the way they thought it would.
Fair. But I mean, at the same time, something has to go wrong.
I think the Vin smokes are the wrench to get thrown into the works next.
It is bizarre we don't see them at all in this chapter.
Do you think she'll notice the picture right away? Since she's pretty much engaged with Jinbei at the moment.
The first page of the next chapter will just be like just a silent page of Big Mom like slowly looking behind over her shoulder, and like her jaw just like slowly dropping.
And then Brooks, scurrying away like a Three Stooges style kind of thing.
Yeah.
He's very cheeky. I love it. I love the way he breaks the picture.
Those last two panels are amazing. I can't understate how hilarious. When I first read this, I kind of skipped over. I'm like, wait, what? And I had to re-look at what was happening because it's just such a change of pace from the rest of this page.
So can he actually see what he's doing right now? Because I'm just looking at the picture above where it says like bank, and it looks like he's like bumping into the table sideways. Like I'm wondering if he could even see through the mask or whatever the heck he's got over his head.
That's what that noise was. I was wondering what the bink was.
Because it looks like he just bumped into it.
I think the bink is like he's sneaking out of the
panel.
Oh,
okay. It's more like he's like, boing, here I am.
It's his brew clinking in his pockets.
So I think that'll do us for the manga recap. You guys ready for the next segment?
But real quick though, was that the first time we'd seen the picture? Because I don't remember seeing the face before.
No,
it was in the plan chapter. It was in the planning in Capone's inside his salon.
No. It was the first time we actually see the picture. They bring it out. This is like
last week. Yeah.
No, this is 2 or 3 weeks
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the Rook or Bishop brings it out. Anyway, let's go into the next segment. Hey everyone, this is our Patreon segment, and we first off want to thank all of our Patreon supporters who make the One Piece podcast possible every single week. Without your support, we literally would not be able to be giving you this podcast every week. So again, if you want to help support us, make us bigger, better, stronger, faster, please go to patreon.com/OnePiecePodcast. There's lots of cool rewards, and I have 2 exclusive episodes coming out this week or next week.
It's a double exclusive episode.
It's a double exclusive. Or I'll just do one really large one. I haven't decided yet. But Ed, I think it's that time of the month that we thank all of our supporters out there.
Ah, yes, it's that time of the month. First,
those over
$5
at least.
Those over $5 who supported us on Patreon. We have Blair Mason, Anthony Poloni, Moyes Kokate, Adriana Carbajal, Fidencio Gonzalez, Daniel Newman, Wandering Off, Cody O'Brien, Morgil, Knut Gendem Fjortoft, Zachary Nichols, The Spider-Man 360, Matt Nolan, Kendra, KA12, Justin Brown, Abdul Buta, Tyler Bass, Christopher Holloman, Saad Mer, Darren Smith, Drew Carmian, Joseph Griffin, Kathleen Weidenhammer, Straw Hat Cyclist, Neil Hill, Rohan Acharya, Oscar Eliasson, Daniel Montejo Jesus, Jacob Betker, Tariq Mahdi, Chase Vanam, Shauna, and Huntress Fan. And finally, we also have Shelly Prez, Narayan, Jose Rivera, Francis S., Karina Dinsmore, Lester Soto, Blindman, Caroline, and Chris Bachman. Oh, and Nohas. That was the last one.
I don't know if the K is silent there, but it might be.
Sure. But if you support us on Patreon at the $5 level, you get this, access to our back catalog, and also exclusive episodes, as we said.
Yeah, that's over $10. You get exclusive episodes, outtakes, and a lot more, plus all of the lower tier stuff. And if you're above $10, we have a lot of cool swag categories, which big shout out to Jammer for helping us consistently out on that front. So hope you guys enjoy that. And if you want to support us in a different way, please go to our store. You just go to onepiecepodcast.com and you go to store at the top. It's also it's on Redbubble, so you could also search for it on there. We hope to have some new swag for you guys on or around our 8th anniversary, but we'll find out, see if that's actually possible. If not, hopefully sometime this summer. So, without further ado, you ready to get into back into the show, Ed?
That's right.
Yes. Did not break the fourth wall at all.
This is the anime recap for episode 785, A Deadly Poison Crisis, Luffy and Reiju. I'm your host Sam, and today with me we have Ed. How's it going, Ed?
It's going all right. More of the same kind of episode from the last couple of weeks this week.
And I have a feeling I'm going to say very similar things at the end of the recap.
I know I am.
Screenplay this week is by Hitoshi Tanaka. Episode director is Yusuke Suzuki, Yusuke Suzuki. Storyboard artist is Masahiro Hosoda, and animation director is Yusuke Isochi. Title card this week begins at 5 minutes and 25 seconds. So everybody's attention is on Reiju as she's boarding the Thousand Sunny. Carrot's got her claws out. Everyone's preparing for a fight, but Reiju seems to be fairly friendly. Brook immediately has heart eyes as if he was Sanji, and we see Yonji coming out of the water because he got knocked into the water in the last episode. Now he's up in the air and he's bouncing on the air, almost like Sanji's skywalk, but it's different. They note that it can't be a devil fruit because he just came out of the water. And it looks different than Nami goes as far as to say it looks different than CP9 and Sanji's ability. And this is when Peckham's explains that it's science, which would make Bill Nye proud, I'm sure.
Yeah. What's that song? She blinded me with science.
Yes.
That
has not been a podcast episode title yet, has it?
No, it hasn't. I don't think anyone else would understand what I was talking about. That song's older than I am.
I mean, that's a pretty that's a well-known reference, at least.
I guess.
I listened to it a lot in Metal Gear Solid 5.
Oh, okay.
So Brook recognizes that the Vinsmokes are a royal family, and Reiju compliments him on his historical knowledge. He's, which is, Brook is not the person you want to be complimenting right now. He might take it to heart.
Yeah. He is very old, as you know.
Yeah, he mentions that, he has been alive for a long time, so that there are some things that he knows that most people might not be familiar with.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder like how much of the intervening years, like he knows history from like before he became a pirate, but like he doesn't seem to know much from like when he was wandering the whatever.
Right. So Reiju goes on to say that Germa 66 is a country without soil, but they still have the right to attend the reverie, which is a thing that I'm dubbing, Chekhov's reverie reference.
Sure.
Brooke does a little bow thing, but it's really just because he wants to get a peek at her panties, and Nami kicks him. Reiju doesn't seem to care. She has no comment.
It the Brooke perving out, it made sense, but it just sort of felt.
Well, it's a joke that they come back to like several times in the episode.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like it's all Brooke can think about, like the whole episode.
Yeah, I don't know. Brooke gets to do some interesting stuff this arc.
So Reiju wonders if Luffy, because remember Luffy is poisoned and dying on the floor during this whole exchange, and Reiju deduces that it's probably from the poison of the armored stonefish from the boiling seas. It's a venom that works differently than most and could kill a giant instantly. So this would explain why it still affects Luffy at all, and B, why he is now dying.
Throws Chopper into fits of despair, like I shouldn't be a doctor.
But it's all okay because this happens to be Reiju's favorite poison, and she leans down and she gives him the smooch, and Brooke does that smooch that in Japanese it's chew.
But they do that thing of they go around and everyone has to react to it, and then they come around to Brooke again, and he's still talking about kissing.
It reminds me of Fooly Cooley. There's that kid in the background who whenever Naruto's getting kissed, there's that kid in the background going, she kissed him, smooch.
Go watch that.
It's a very lewd kiss scene, especially when Reiju pulls away.
It goes on for it feels like it goes on for like
it does go on for it goes on for like a good minute, and like we see her moth wings like sprouting as a result, and it makes us wonder what her powers are. We know her nickname in this like Super Sentai deal is Poison Pink, just like Yonji's is Winch Green. But we don't know exactly, is this a devil fruit? Is this a Germa science thing? We don't know for sure. But yeah, she sucks the poison out. We see
there's a history of like women poison tasters, like ninja type things.
Yeah.
You've ever seen Ninja Scroll? The lead female character, and that was a poison eating female ninja. So that was her ninja power.
So yeah, she basically just like pulls all the poison out of him. You see the little hashed lines that they used to draw the poison on Luffy. They all get sucked up into Reiju. She pulls back. She's got her like super shiny lips. She's like making little moans like, because it's very good poison.
It's a kid's show.
Right. And Luffy wakes up and he's as good as new. And he looks very refreshed after we spent the last couple episodes with him like kind of all blue and scuffed up. Now he's looking nice and healthy. He does not really realize anything that was going on. He doesn't even realize that his life was in danger. Like everyone's telling him, "Oh, you almost died," and he's just like very nonchalantly saying, "Oh, did I?" But yeah, he wakes up.
I fell asleep while eating fish. Like, come on.
That's all he remembers. Reiju has her little "it was delicious" moment as she like licks her lips. Luffy sees her swirly eyebrow, and his immediate response is Sanji, and Chopper has to remind him that no, Luffy, that is a woman. And Luffy's like, oh, I guess she is, which reminds me of Goku in the old Dragon Ball days.
What, not knowing what a girl is?
Yeah. He can never tell who's a girl and who's a guy, so he has to always like pat them on the crotch.
Go for the Pafu Pafu.
So yeah, he's thinking that there's a quick moment where Reiju is explaining why Sanji's bounty, his wand poster changed when everyone else's Dressrosa bounties changed. Not only did he get an extra 100 million berries as opposed to 50 million, like most of the people who weren't part of Dressrosa, he got, because Reiju's dad and Sanji's dad basically pulled some strings and got his bounty up to extra high and got the dead or alive changed to only alive. And so that's the explanation for why that happens. There's also a quick reference that they were searching for him for a while, and that their search took them to some guy named Duval, who we all remember is our good friend Duval.
Poor Duval, yeah. This takes us pretty much into the ad break.
Yeah.
That was well, he does say that Sanji's still my friend and I want to get him back.
Yes,
that leads us into the end.
That's a pretty important moment where Luffy is thanking them for helping, but he's also saying that his intentions going into Whole Cake Island have not changed, and that they will probably have to be enemies if they cross paths. But everyone kind of accepts that, and there's this moment of the Peckhams confronting the Vince Smokes. Like the Vince Smokes, like, "Hey, aren't you supposed to be with Big Mom's crew? Why are you with the Straw Hats?" And Peckhams is just like, "None of your dang business."
Well, but before that, I just wanted to say that, like, the way that they stretch out this episode, like, after they come back from the ad break and before they do that bit with Peckhams, there is like 10 seconds of just facial expressions. Like, everyone gets to react, but they're not actually reacting to anything.
Right.
Love Luffy's, like, they just all have stern faces, and like, this goes on for like a minute, and this is how we
It's a big cast. I gotta remind everyone who's there.
And this is how we end up with episodes paced like this.
Right.
And it gets frustrating after a while, even if I do like how this was in the manga. This is just reminding me of something that I liked more.
So yeah, Peckhams is telling him, "None of your business. We are not a unified front yet. The Vince Smokes and Big Mom's family. We are not a team yet, so I don't have to tell you nothing." And so Reiju heads back to the ship, and she and Yonji are off. And this is I noticed that like Luffy is like, he looks really cool in this episode. Just like the way he's drawn is really neat.
Well, after he's revived, he's looking all cut and muscular too.
Yeah. And as the Vince Smokes are leaving, Yonji is fawning over Nami's wanted poster.
God.
Oh, yeah, and Brooks got his little, "Oh, why are they leaving? I wanted to see her panties" thing. Like they bring up this joke like 3 times in this episode.
Yep.
So Peckhams goes on to explain how Whole Cake Island, and more specifically Toto Land, works. Is that there's actually 34 small islands surrounding Whole Cake, and they all run by 34 ministers, and all these places together equals Toto Land.
Mm-hmm.
So Pedro sees something from the crow's nest. Carrot goes up to check on it too. It's one of Big Mom's tart.
It's like it's a confection, like fruit tart.
Yeah, they're little scout tart ships. So Peckhams is like, "Okay, everyone, go hide. I will deal with this. Get in disguises, ideally." I love how Brooke has to like duck as he runs into the kitchen.
That was a nice touch. I noticed that as well.
So they dock on Whole Cake Island. Peckhams is talking to the people who are sort of running the dock, the shore, and he's explaining that the Sunny is a pirate ship they took from somebody else, and that it is part of his present to Big Mom. And Big Mom's men, they all just believe him. But we know there's a lot more to it than that.
Well, there's more to it because there's good food. It's on the ship.
Right. I love this little thing of the Straw Hats like peeking out from behind Sunny's mane, like just they just sort of like slide out as like peeking out, and you even see Carrot like come out from one side, and then one more close up on Pedro, she's like sliding up behind him too, and like jumping, getting ready to go into shore. Mm-hmm. But it turns out Luffy and Chopper, they're way ahead of everyone else. They haven't gotten in disguise yet, but they're like, screw it, we're going to go into Chocolate Town. For a moment, I thought we were going to go into like a weird little filler thing, because I forgot that this happened before they got into disguises, where they just run straight into town.
Oh, I remember that distinctly. That's such a Luffy thing to do, really.
Yeah. It's very similar to Alabasta when they first got there, and Luffy just ran off and found like the dance powder and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, they're running into Chocolate Town. The thing that was like most noticeable here and I think this is a thing that the anime has been doing really good at, is just like really cool choices in like atmospheric colors. Mm-hmm. Like the Chocolate Town is like this really kind of rich, like dark red look to it, and the sky is this like cotton candy blue and pink look, and like it really looks great. I really, and this reminds me, because when we started Zoe as well, like I was just really floored by how they made the sky look there, and like how distinct it looked compared to the rest of the series. And I hope this is a thing that kind of stay on.
Yeah, it looks great.
Yep.
I mean, I'm just disappointed with the pacing so far, but I do agree with.
I'm still not bothered by it for some reason.
It's getting on me. It's been 3 episodes.
Yeah. Did you watch the preview for next week's?
Oh yeah, it just runs right through on Crunchyroll, so I just watched at the end.
Man, next week's looks great. I mean, I might be like, what's the? I'm getting my cliches wrong. I might be jumping the gun on saying it looks great.
No, but I mean, Big Mom looks amazing.
Yeah, and like everything's moving and dancing, and like again the colors, and like I'm excited to see Pudding and Big Mom, and obviously we got that preview clip for next week's episode that is Big Mom singing.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk? Let's talk about the actors. You want to talk about the announcements?
Sure. I mean, I don't have a ton to comment on.
I don't know. I just love the. I just want to talk about some of their other roles that I love because we talked about Aurelie, but also Balalaika from Black Lagoon, which I loved, and also you ever watch Monster?
I think I watched a couple episodes and I didn't stick with it.
This is at the beginning. Mami Koyama also played Eva Heinemann, the evil fiance from the beginning of Monster, like cool. the drunken, and so that she's great at just being really
evil.
Sort of evil. Yeah. Also, she played, I think, one of the bug aliens that Vegeta kills on that filler planet. She's the bug princess.
It is worth mentioning that she is also replacing the actress who was playing her during that Fishman Island episode.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll see how that goes. Like, I think the original actress is just in poor health right now or something.
And it's interesting. They've actually both played Fujiko Mine from Lupin before, because Mami Koyama played Fujiko in the Fuma Conspiracy, and Miyuki Sawashiro, who plays Pudding, played her in Lupin the Third Part 4. Cool. So that is very interesting. And also in The Woman Called Fujiko Mine. She's very good in that.
And Pudding's voice actor is also Kurapika from Hunter x Hunter.
Right. And there were a few others, but I'm very encouraged by the casting for this. So I'm looking forward to it a lot.
Yeah, the casting in the Japanese version is usually pretty good. So.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Okay.
Any other thoughts you want to share, or are we ready to move on to the next segment?
I'm ready to move on.
All right, let's go.
Thank you, Big News Morgans. Let's start out with some very big news, and that's your emails. First comes from Hassan, who says, do you think One Piece would have been better off taking the approach of other series, such as Toriko, Fist of the North Star, Saint Seiya, and most parts of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where there are very few female characters, and if they are present, they have minor roles? That's weird. No. Nope. Or is simply not having female characters in the main cast the easiest way to avoid criticisms about female character representation? I think that's avoiding
of course, if you
problem.
Don't try, honestly. Yeah. Like, you gotta...
It's also bad for your cast makeup. Like, it makes for very one note if you're completely, ignoring half of humanity, essentially.
Yeah. And honestly, you'd have the other complaint where they'd ask why they aren't any female characters, so you wouldn't be able to win either way.
And most of those examples are considerably older series.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
So
very true.
I had a week's warning about this, and this is the crew I have assembled, so let's see how we do here. It's time for the third annual One Piece quiz from Ben Wild.
Ooh. Oh, man, all right.
Ooh.
Now, he doesn't say the amount he donates for each, or if he is donating any money this year, but at the very least, we could play some trivia. So, let's see if I could figure these out too. First question, also for anyone that wants to play the world's largest trivia contest next year, Ed, the info could be found at 90fmtrivia.org.
It's in Stevens Point, Wisconsin, which is... it's north central. It's west of Green Bay, basically.
It's where Steven and Steve are from. It's what I choose to believe. First question, the title for episode 400 of the podcast. I know the answer, but I will leave it to you guys first. I'm pretty sure I know the answer at least.
Oh, man. I don't know.
It features the episode title for episode 400 of the podcast you are currently on, Sam.
No, I wouldn't.
Wait, we have to answer the title of the podcast?
Yeah, with the title of the podcast. I'll give you a hint. Yeah, okay. I'll give the hint since I know the answer. It had a very special guest who is now working at Viz. The answer is Stand and Jump. It's with Sasaki Asashi.
Okay.
That was 400. Okay,
Or was that 300?
I thought every 50 was our finales, so it'd be like congratulations or one of those.
It didn't work out that way until later.
It's usually 99s and 49s.
Okay, gotcha.
Wait, I hope that's right.
You want to look it up?
Or is that... no, that's 300 Stand and Jump. Wait, 400 was the beginning of last year. So what did we do at the beginning of last year? What was going on?
Was that
Year of Sanji, right?
That wasn't.
That's Year of Spamji. That's what it is. Episode 400's Year of Spamji. I remember because that was the name of Steve's email account. Anyway, second question.
Okay.
The name of the Navy officer that tried to save Nami's hometown from Arlong.
Oh, it's like pudding. Yeah.
There you go, Sam.
Number 3. In the Funimation dub, on what island did Usopp say, stuck in a dungeon, stuck in a dungeon?
In the dub?
It's not
How many times has he been around a dungeon?
He was in a
G8?
cell. In
Rain
Base, he was in a cell.
Stuck in a dungeon.
What's the name of G8's island?
Was it Annie's Lobby?
No,
that's not the name of G8's island.
Oh yeah, but no, I was thinking for myself. Yeah, I don't know.
Do you want to go back to that one?
Navarone.
Oh,
Navarone.
That'll be our answer then.
Sure, yeah.
Number 4. What is the first zombie, quote unquote, that we see on Thriller Bark?
Oh.
An old man with serious injuries.
No, he wasn't.
Absalom.
That.
Don't we see Absalom? He's on the boat and he's invisible.
No, Absalom isn't a zombie. He's just modified.
Is it the dog?
No, it's
the Cerebus dog.
I thought it would have been the bat, the
Hilden the vampire.
Hilden.
Yeah.
Was he a zombie?
Oh yeah, Absalom isn't really a zombie.
Yeah, Hilden has a number on him. He's a zombie.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
was Absalom technically a zombie?
No, he's just modified.
Wasn't the wording like the first zombie they see? So if he was invisible.
Yeah, he's invisible. Yeah. Okay, number 5. The group of characters that have number-based names other than the Vinsmokes.
The quintuplet mermaids. Kami.
Baroque Works.
And Baroque Works.
They have number-based names, yeah.
Ichika, Nika, Sanka, Yonka, and Yonka 2.
Yonka 2. I feel like there's a lot more even than that. I feel like that comes up a lot. And 6th, I'm sure the one we'll all know. What is Rocinante's Navy code?
Oh, it's the with Sengoku. It's like something. Yeah, cookies and crackers.
Yeah, Sengoku is cracker.
Well, but he had a number.
No, it's a number.
Yeah, it was his Marine code. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah, I don't remember that off the top of my head.
I do not remember that.
No one? I think we could probably move on then. Thank you so much, Ben, as usual, for our third annual One Piece podcast trivia.
And if you think you know the answers, by all means, if you're listening and you know better than we do, send in the answers, please.
I'm sure a lot of people do know it better than we do. The fact that I forgot our own podcast 400 episode title is not great, since that was only a year and some weeks ago. Next one, and this is their name, Pudding Good. To begin with, chapter 863 was sensational and smooth. Just one question: is the scarecrow that Luffy just smashed Mother Caramel Brook? Yes, the answer is that scarecrow is indeed Brook. And then do you think...
hold on, we don't know this for sure yet.
It's some sort of
it could be a coincidence that he says yo ho ho.
Yeah, I'll leave that there. There's some other questions, but I'm going to leave that there. Next one comes from Ryan. If the Straw Hats had not split up and stayed together in Dressrosa, what would change to you in the Dressrosa arc? Or what would change in general in the Dressrosa arc?
There'd be even more too many characters.
Cool. Any opinions, Steven?
You have to repeat the question. I'm looking over Reddit.
Anyway, let's go to. Yeah,
I think it's wiser. I think it's wiser to save Zoro and Frankie for whatever is going to happen in Wano. So,
yeah.
I thought on Dressrosa though, splitting the characters again.
Oh gosh, okay, yeah. Sorry, I was thinking.
Yeah. I think Sam's point is well taken. That there were too many characters already, and it just would have taken even longer to get to the end of that arc.
Steven, what's going on Reddit?
All right, let's see. I'm going to start off with Brutusness, who has a question for me. Did you have any trouble coming up with a distinction between Katakuri's fruit and trebles, considering that they both seem to translate to sticky? Well, the good news was that I didn't really need to worry about that because Katakuri's was literally referring to mochi, which is a type of food which, is something that I would not have replaced anyway, since it fits with the theme of the arc and, was kind of a centerpiece to the gag with Jinbei's tea and all that stuff. So I did not really need to, I was not tempted to refer to it as sticky or anything like that. I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to go with mochi and hope that everybody knows, or enough people know what that is.
The funny thing is we all thought Treble's sticky fruit was Logia, but it was Paramecia. And we all would think that Katakuri's fruit would be Paramecia, but it's Logia.
Yeah.
Just
the natural enemies of each other.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. Duraboss says, the event where Jinbei calls Luffy the future king of the pirates, followed by an absolutely hilarious moment from Brook reminded me when Corazon revealed that he is able to speak to Law, and then right after that sets himself on fire. Are there any other iconic moments where something epic happens and then right after is a gag that you guys think of in One Piece?
I feel like that happens a lot. And I'm just trying to think of a moment.
Right. He's been doing it very well this arc, I will say that.
I mean, the stuff with Cracker even, like when Luffy has to keep eating Cracker in order to beat him, I feel like it's somewhat good. And then something epic happens. It starts as a gag and then it gets epic.
Well, there was the Duval gag. That was a huge gag. It was supposed to be played up as serious.
Yeah.
It was, as we referenced in the anime this week.
Yeah, that's a really good one. Yeah, I don't know. Keep going.
Okay. John Gargia wants to know, is Big Mom's soul-sucking ability being limited by courage a nerf? I feel like she's a lot less potent if she can't do her main devil fruit power against anybody strong or stupid enough to stand up to her. Then again, otherwise she could outright kill anybody she could touch. What's the best way to mitigate such a killer ability?
I think we suggested it earlier. Like there are ways to make like Luffy like fear for his friends and whatnot.
True. Although I feel like the crux of the point was that it was like if you shake your life's like your soul's attachment to its own life is the sort of thing. So I don't know if being afraid for other people would have the same type of
it's like feeding off of the self-centeredness of survival, I guess.
Right. Yeah. That's a good way of putting it.
I have a somewhat unrelated thought. How do all the strong people have just such amazing devil fruits for the most part?
That's how they got strong, I guess.
Or like, is it just like luck of the draw then? As to, hockey seems to be something that's imbued on people who have like, they're destined for greatness, like Conqueror's hockey. But devil fruits, I feel like it's like, oh, if you're strong, you'll have this. So I know it's just really a storytelling thing on Oda's head.
Yeah, it's just it's a coincidence in the same way that there's like coincidentally, or that like coincidentally all the 7 warlords just like happen to be named after animals and that they stuck with those animal themes throughout their life.
Yeah.
It would be nice though to get a character like a really powerful character that's strong but just has a really crappy devil fruit.
Or very weird.
Secondary.
Yeah, like an off.
Has that not happened? Is that? I mean, I guess I'm trying to think of all of them.
Foxy.
Yeah, Foxy.
Yeah, but Foxy.
all the major big bads have had pretty cool powers.
Well, you know what? Lucci.
Yeah. Buggy.
Lucci, I think, is a good example. That is a weird devil fruit.
Well, I mean, like in the realm of like zone type fruits, like you would want like a carnivore, like a leopard.
But not a giraffe.
No.
Right.
Well, says you, giraffes are awesome.
Don't underestimate the power of giraffes. That's what he says.
Yes.
Yeah, giraffes fight. They smack their skulls into each other because they have very small brains.
Well, I think the entire
it's very scary looking.
It is horrifying. They whip their necks and they get a lot of velocity.
It's on the David Attenborough series Africa for those interested, available on Netflix.
Yes, it is.
And I know everyone out there has already seen one give birth, so there's not really anything else to be said about giraffes.
Wait, what?
It's kind of like fighting with pool noodles.
Yeah.
Oh, you
have your brain at the end.
You've been reading my Kaku fix.
I'm gonna write that down as an episode title, even though that makes no sense. Go ahead.
Poke Luffy 2 wants to know: do you think Big Mom wants giants on her side because of their strength and power, or because of their really long lifespans?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She wants the power, and she wants to look good for having all the races.
Yes.
I still feel like there's some weird, like, unexplained angle to it. Like, there's some personal thing even beyond, because remember they said that with the story with Loki, the giant prince, that like even at that point she was already on bad terms with the giants. So I still feel like there has to be some kind of personal issue behind that.
Maybe I want to spoil this movie. Maybe it's like a Get Out angle on that. That's why she wants them all.
Maybe Mother Karma was a giant. We don't know yet.
Yeah,
We only see her face, and
Yeah.
Wait, a giant nun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is terrifying.
So let's see. Rive of Discard. I guess this is just kind of our brainstorming here. Surprisingly, this Big Mom assassination plan has gone off without a hitch so far. What could possibly go wrong?
Caesar's poison rockets are going to mess things up.
We've actually been saying from the beginning
yeah.
it is Caesar that is going to be the thing that messes this up somehow. And we know he's coming into play at some point because he's like waiting in the wings.
Mm-hmm.
Can't wait.
The two things I'm kind of expecting to happen right now are that it's the Vince Smokes that step in and like really complicate things, and that I think Luffy and Big Mom have to have like a proper fight.
All right.
Or Big Mom and Brooke at this rate.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We'll go to Dark Knight 550, who wants to know, what is the devil fruit that is inevitably going to grow from Nami's orange tree on the Sunny? The tree has been foreshadowed with great importance all throughout the series. I don't know if that's necessarily true.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
That'd be
I feel
a fun
like that's
twist.
yeah, it would be a really cool idea.
Yeah, a lot of people think that they think, well, one, they think Monet is dead, and two, they think that means that her fruit has grown on the tree already.
Right.
But I think
That's like
Nami would have
that's
noticed
the
that by now. Like if there was a devil fruit on Nami's orange tree, she would have seen that on the way to Whole Cake.
Also, then it would be the snow fruit, and you have an answer. Also,
And
she's not dead, probably, because it's One Piece.
Assuming
It's a
that
fruit that gives you Bellamir's haircut.
our going theory about the death causing the fruit to materialize in the nearest fruit thing, I feel like that kind of means that Monet is the only possible answer if that's going to be a thing, just because it would, if it's going to happen in the future, it means that somebody's going to have to die, and I just don't know that Oda is necessarily going to do that again. We'll see. Slades of Glory says, what if a Charlotte sibling ate Corazon's fruit and creates silence right before Mom lets out her shriek? That's a cute idea, but I don't think it is likely to happen.
And it just makes her less threatening to the people trying to take her down right now, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah, you want her to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Well, that might help the siblings at least fight back against
right.
Them. John Garja again wants to know, when Pudding wears winged eyeliner, which way does she wing the middle eye?
Both sides.
Both sides, yeah. That's got to be
symmetry.
Yeah. All right. Words Dear wants to know, what do you think? Is Jinbei officially crew now, or will he join at the end of the arc like Brook in Thriller Bark? Maybe Brûlé couldn't reflect on Brook because he is dead, and that is why he needed the mask instead of turning him into Luffy, literally.
I think he's all but official at this point, Jinbei.
Yeah, I think there's going to be like an official, I think there's going to be an exchange of cups type deal at the end.
That's the only way Jinbei will accept the offer to join.
They got to have a party. I mean, that's the official.
If he gets to drink some sake out of a cup.
He's gonna have to.
Yeah, and what better time to party than when 3 new people join the crew?
Oh my god, 3! Oh, you're not
That's
including
where I'm at right now.
You're not including Caesar right now.
I am in the 3. Yeah.
What about Pedro?
What about Gangster?
Oh no, I don't think Pedro's gonna do it.
Oh, we're gonna not
so
score.
Wait, you're replacing Pedro with Gastino.
Yes.
Continue.
I don't know what's so hard to understand about this.
All of it.
Let's see. Scambala says, if Big Mom's power requires a fear of death, that essentially means that Kaido cannot be affected by her devil fruit. If this is the case, what has been allowing her to retain a 4 Emperor position when she's clearly at a handicap against Kaido?
Well, I mean, there's a lot more to it than just like the captains squaring off.
They've
got their henchmen, they've got all their politics and whatnot.
Well, there's also the fact that they would be severely damaged by fighting each other. What's to be gained by fighting each other when you each have these massive spheres of influence?
And I like to think that Big Mom is plenty strong without her devil fruit.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, we know just out of pure toughness, she's got like skin as hard as steel. That's what I imagine is the case, but I mean, maybe there's a different explanation. But I like thinking she's just tough.
I also feel like there's just kind of a natural issue of like their motivations, which is that Big Mom again seems very kind of set up in her territory. Like she wants her her Toto land where everybody's at the table, and that doesn't seem to include like going out and picking fights with Kaido. And Kaido has his own weird thing that he's up to, where he wants to start this big war. And we're not really sure what that means or why.
Imagine Kaido actually meeting Big Mom, and he's like, "Oh, finally, someone who can kill me because she can just take my soul right out." And it's like, "Oh shit, I'm not afraid of her."
Yeah, that's true. That's pretty funny. Let's see. Let's see. Account Muscle 44 says, Jinbei says that Katakuri's powers are vulnerable to and neutralized by water, well, against moisture, really. Do you think that this could lead to another situation where Nami's ability to make it rain will play a big factor like it did against Cracker?
That's a good idea. I mean, like, Jinbei is already, like, pretty water efficient, or proficient, I should say. Like, he just seems he can just bring water out of anything.
Nami can make it rain in multiple ways.
Yeah.
She is in.
Well, she doesn't want to. She wants to keep all them.
Yeah, she does not want to.
That's it. I guess that's true. Let's see. Here's an interesting one. 1234 Entac says, last week Brian had some criticism for the volume 80. Yeah, Joey had some criticism for the volume 85 cover. I have one too. I'm sure most of you have realized by now, but Jinbei has the exact same pose in volume 64. He's even on the same side of the cover. That can only mean one of two things. Either this is Jinbei's blue steel, or this is his Sentai style pose.
Why not both?
It's sea blue steel.
It's like his selfie thing. That's his selfie pose.
He's found his angle. He knows his right light.
Yeah, I mean, like, how many times has Luffy done that pose where he just puts both arms up in the air and
it's like when you see it's kind of like an MMA fighter. You ever see him take a picture with a fan? They always do that thing where they have the one fist out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Let's see. F Blue. What is so special about General Tater Stash predicting the future? Potato Starch. Excuse me. Hope you category.
Have we seen his face?
Maybe. Even if we ignore headcanon. Even if we ignore Sanji's mix-up game, beating it like it's no big deal isn't predicting the future, just basic observation hockey 101. All of Enero's priests had the same ability. The only observation hockey user I can think of who can't see the future is Usopp, who instead uses it to see through walls.
I think he's just, like, extra good at it.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. Whitebeard Beppo says Brook being able to smash the photo was possible due to Katakuri's fatal error of saying to ignore the animals, and also points out Porchemi's sister in the panel, Porchemina.
And unfortunately, Katakuri doesn't have the ability to see through masters of disguise like Brook.
He can't see through whatever was a balloon,
a bag or balloon.
That's what it looked like. It looked like a balloon.
His scarecrow costume.
Yeah.
It really is his scarecrow costume.
Let's see. I'm going to read this one just for the name. Edgy McStarchy wants to know, hey, OPP, just a quick question on a past theory. Have we all abandoned the Pudding and Capone conspiring together theory, or is it too early to call?
I was never on board.
Yeah, I'll abandon that.
We talk about a lot of things in this podcast. We don't believe a lot.
It seems way too convoluted to reintroduce at this point, given everything else that's going on.
Sometimes you just throw something out there because you're thinking about it, but you don't really invest in it.
We mentioned that because Capone was missing for a very long time, for those who remember, and Pudding was evil at that same time. So,
yeah, just to point out, like I was thinking about this when we were doing the anime recap, but we saw the Land of Chocolate for the first time in the anime this week, and it's been 11 months since that chapter in the manga, so we've got a lot of history with Whole Cake Island at this point.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. I'm going to pick one more, and then we can move on from Reddit. I will pick Super Dubes, who says, "I'm curious why you guys are so against the idea of Oda redeeming Pudding, but for the longest time we're behind the idea of Big Mom becoming an ally. Pudding is an adorable three-eyed puppy compared to the pissed-off fat pit bull that is Big Mom."
Then we learn more about.
Well, I think that's part of the problem right there. Is that it just feels weird that the pretty girls get treated differently than the big moms of the world.
Yeah, don't fat shame Big Mom. You can judge the rest of her character, but come on.
You know what I mean.
I feel like there was some circumstantial stuff with the idea of Big Mom maybe not becoming an ally. I think we were always open to the idea that the resolution of the arc would be slightly different, just because it seemed like this was being treated, if not quite, like it was somewhat like a detour. Like, okay, we have to get this thing done with Sanji, sort of like Drum Island, where it was like, okay, here's this detour we have to do to help Nami. And then, it ends up having, this arc takes on a life of its own and a meaning of its own by the end. In this case, it was like, okay, we have to do this thing for Sanji. We have to get Sanji back.
And we were focused on Sanji's family. Like, Vinsmoke's got the big heel push at the beginning of the arc.
Yeah.
So we lost focus on Big Mom being evil, but Oda brought that out later on. And so we kind of lost focus on Big Mom being an ally at the end.
Yeah. I think it's also like Pudding, I think, is a more interesting character as a villain, and that's not to say that she necessarily isn't anymore. Like we said, many of us, I think, are reserving judgment as to where this goes by the end of the arc, and what happens with Pudding's character to determine how we feel about this. But I guess it's just kind of a little bit of a character archetype fatigue that we've seen a lot since the New World, in particular, that we're wary of, I guess I would say.
And my general philosophy is that I'm generally okay. It depends on the story, but like I'm generally okay with redemption arcs for almost any character, given that they. I'm okay with Big Mom being like a semi-ally at some point in the story if Luffy fights her and beats her first, like he did with Crocodile.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I'm starting to think that like this might end a lot more epic than we're expecting it to. Like I'm thinking that a fight between Big Mom and Luffy is much more possible now. Because a big thing about it is that with the big Pudding reveal is like now we've got this like very cemented theme of like bad parents in Whole Cake Island, and I've always championed like Big Mom as like the main bad guy. I've never liked the idea that she was being manipulated by her children or something, because I think that she's just more entertaining that way, and two, now that we have this like theme, like this sort of problem for like Luffy to like philosophically like be standing against in this arc, I think is cool.
Yeah, and a lot of the idea of her children being able to manipulate her too was kind of stemming from her very her character being very driven by desires and kind of elemental wants and needs. Like she just kind of rockets to and fro to things that she really wants to be fulfilled by in that moment. And now that I think we've seen he's done a better job at presenting the menace of her full, attention when she really wants to screw people over. And he wasn't doing that with a big antagonist in the picture like Luffy until now.
Week to week analysis is really hard. So you're going to end up, going with different theories and different things. And for the weeks that I'm sure a lot of us were saying that, Big Mom might be redeemed and Pudding would not. Those were the weeks that Pudding's villainy was much more prominent and Big Mom was more of an ancillary character. I'm on record now to say I don't want either of them to be redeemed. It's not an either or situation. Agreed. I would like them both to just be villains.
Agreed.
I'm on that.
But I also think it's, with regards to the direction it's going with Big Mom, I think with the kids, the kids are going to have more of a vested interest in her getting defeated at this point because so many of them have screwed up in this arc and have the potential of incurring her wrath.
Interesting. Yeah, that is true.
What's next?
Well, I think we can move on.
Oh, Ed. Yeah.
Yes, it's time to piece the treasure. Yeah, it's time to piece the tweet, everybody. Yeah. First question comes from Sleepy Beppo. It says, if you were Big Mom, how would you kill Jinbei?
Oh.
She'd smash him over the head with her fist, pretty much. Like,
eat him.
We saw how powerful.
Yeah, eat him. Step on him.
Gotta eat him.
Yeah.
Poison the ritual sake.
Sashimi.
All right.
He just wakes up with the severed head of a whale shark in his bed.
Where did their heads begin?
That is a good question.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Ed?
All right. Oprichnik1 asks, what's to say that the photo of Mother Carmel isn't literally the physical, real memory from Big Mom folded and framed? The memory fruit makes literal reels of film. It's wacky like that. Chances are it isn't, but it's worth thinking outside the norm.
Oh, that never occurred to me that like the film reels could like stay outside of her.
I wonder why. Yeah, like if Big Mom had Pudding do that for her, why she would want to do that. I mean, like that part is sort of missing, but it's an interesting thought.
It's still very enigmatic, and it seems like Oda is holding back on whatever the rationale behind this picture is for some big reveal. But yeah, I guess that still kind of ties into the semi like Horcrux theory that this is some extremely precious object that cannot be harmed. Yeah. Okay.
Next one comes from Dr. Sim Adoku. Is One Piece on break next week because of Golden Week? Yes.
Shonen Jump is on break.
Yeah, right. It's not just Oda being like having to take a break for one of the 4 times this year, but the whole magazine is off. It'll be back on May 8th.
Right. And Emil Nordpol asks, do you think Pudding can actually create memories? It seems as if she could only replace them with existing material.
That's a very good question that I do not know the answer to. But I feel like that would add a lot to her fruit.
Well, yeah, wasn't the one thing that she did with
she edited. Yeah, I know what you're.
Yeah, but she took that memory from like a soldier who'd been shot or something like that. So that
correct.
That would kind of suggest that she would have to like remove the memories from other people and stockpile them to use.
Was it a soldier that Reiju had seen get shot, though, or was it a different soldier's memory?
I don't know.
I think it was.
I would assume, just for the purposes of making storytelling easier, that she could take them from other people and just store them in her own head.
Oda should have named her power the Final Cut fruit.
I was just about to say, if Jose could have, I know he's not listening to this because he's not up to this, but if he could have any devil fruit, this is the one.
Oh, man.
And at the same time, this would not be the one.
Next question. Win iPhone 7 Plus. All in caps. Maybe it's just me, but Caesar Clown in his Gastino getup kind of has Vegeta hair.
Wait, why does Win iPhone 7
getting really good?
Well, I think it's also Flat Cap Sean because he sent that one on both of his accounts.
Okay. What was the actual question again?
Caesar Clown in his casino getup has Vegeta hair. I just thought that was funny.
Oh yeah.
I'll send you to the next dimension.
Okay.
I want to watch that whole show. Which is funny because it's really Frieza's voice, so it's very weird. It doesn't make sense, but yeah. Go ahead.
King Luffy 1 says, is Katakuri the inspiration for a Village People song that got lost in translation? Mochi, Mochi Man. Yeah. He wants to be a Mochi Man.
Yeah.
I like it.
I don't know any of the other lyrics.
He dresses right.
Yeah.
That's true. He does dress right. What are any?
Got those tight pants.
Yeah.
Are there any other lyrics to that song? I don't know. That's good.
No, it's all about his. It's
all about the chorus.
Yeah, Never Knows Best asks, the panel underneath Luffy saying, "It's me." You can actually see Brook with the fake Luffy face running next to Panda Man.
Kelly was good enough to mention that Brook was there in a subtle way. Very good job, Kelly.
Apparently, Panda Man was also there. So,
that's I do see him. Yeah, the Brook is very well hidden behind the guard.
Mm-hmm.
That's clever.
Yeah. All right. Next one comes from Dimple Scott. What slogan would each of the Straw Hats use to get votes in the popularity poll? If anyone has ideas.
Ooh. Oh man. This is I don't know. It's like vote slogans are very tricky.
See, none of us are any good at this. Otherwise, we'd be in.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is a sign.
I'm Luffy, gonna be king of the pirates. You gotta vote for me. Yeah, that's really all there is.
He would go simple.
Zoro is like, I don't care, but I just want to go drink, and he would win with that. That's
Brook is dead tired of not being in the top 5.
Nice. Brook needs to be. I mean, maybe we should just push for Brook in this character poll just because of his recent heroism. He deserves a little credit.
Sanji says that he's going to fight for women, but he means it too literally.
That's good.
Ash asks, in my recent editorial, I theorized there would be 3 more Straw Hats after Jinbei. Who would you choose for those 3 places?
Well, we know Sam's answer to this question.
Well, I mean, if that's 3 people after Jinbei, then that leaves a 4th that I haven't.
What about Pedro?
He's just Leopard Sanji.
Why don't you like Pedro? Ed, can you do some Pedro for us so that Sam could warm up to him a little bit?
But for me, I am the sexiest cat.
See, how could you not vote for that?
Yeah. I don't know. 10, I think, is the limit. I don't think there are going to be any more.
I'm kind of at the point, it's like, does it really matter if they're crew or like getting to the end of the story? Everyone is
way more exciting to have a new crew member. A new alliance member will never be as exciting as
you and Ash are very into the crew member thing. I'm like beyond. I feel like I'm beyond that. We have the Grand Fleet at this point. It's like everyone's going to be an ally at some point. We're all kind of in the party at this point.
I just missed that like honeymoon phase you go through with a new crew member.
Yeah,
but newer fans aren't really going to care as much.
I think they would care more because I think because I know that for me, like new crew members was like what kept me watching when I was catching up. Like it was just so exciting to see new people like officially join.
Look, you think you know new fans, and then you look at the poll I posted earlier where Dressrosa got in 2nd place of all the post Fishman Island arcs, and you're like, I don't know.
That doesn't even surprise me that much. It's just like
no,
I don't know. I'm just all for like stuff that keeps the new world from stagnating because I think it's teetering the line.
That's true. Sam is a young person, so I don't really know.
I'll say that I think the introduction of the Grand Fleet does change some things a little bit because really the big thing about having a new crew member is just the assurance that your favorite character is going to become a more rotating and prominent member of the cast.
And in all the color spreads.
Exactly. So I think as long as the Grand Fleet isn't forgotten, and like we can still have these characters that aren't necessarily official members of the Straw Hats, but are still unofficially with them a lot, it's fine by me.
See, the thing is, I wrote like a long time ago. I wrote an editorial that was voicing very similar opinions as that, and now I'm just like, I just want everyone on the crew. I just want every arc to have that moment.
I'm not so hung up on like the fine distinction between like, okay, permanent crew member or a member of the ancillary fleet or whatnot. An ally is an ally. I do feel like it is going to be difficult for Oda to introduce more permanent members in like a sentiment way, because these 9 have been in place for so long without any changes. Like it's hard, especially coming from pre-time skip to post-time skip, and just so much of that story that has not been shared by whoever does end up joining.
Well, that's why Jinbei worked so well, is because we've known him since Impel Down.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what if this long stretch of no new crew members and like this crew, this 9-member crew being so tight? What if that just got smashed wide open with 3 new crew members at once?
4. Wait, no, 3, just not Caesar. What's next, Ed? What's next?
Interesting.
All right, the next question comes. Well, it's more of a comment, but Joe, Venatophile, she's been on the anime recap a couple of times. She says, if Katakuri isn't defeated by a blow with a hammer, it'll be a missed opportunity. Because he's a mochi man.
You do. Yeah, that's true.
He gets pounded.
Maybe
Brooke has a hammer.
Brooke does have a hammer.
Pounded.
Yeah. Or maybe by pound. That's another opportunity.
Pound, yes! That's great.
Wait, none of you got that connection there?
He's going to get pounded.
Wouldn't that be cool? Like Pound shows up and he's like an awesome fighter and he goes head to head with Katakuri.
And
He just falls out of the sky.
Katakuri goes to Pound Town. And then we get to use that episode title.
That's like almost incest, but not really.
God.
No, it isn't at all. But it's like
well,
Woody
I mean,
Allen-esque.
they're like related by like marriage, sort of.
It's Woody Allen-esque. It's weird.
Yeah.
He's
a stepson.
Yeah.
Onyx Prime asks, with all the food-related villains and powers, do you think we'll see the return of knife-fighting Sanji?
The return?
Yeah, he fought
on the train and Water 7.
Oh. Yeah, I forgot that.
Yeah,
that almost seems sacrilegious now. How could Sanji do that?
I would like to see that. That would be cool.
Well, you're fighting against noodles, and there's lots of food.
There's tons of food.
Here.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
True.
Although Wanzi wasn't a noodle person, he just used noodles.
What if? So I know Greg's big theory is that Sanji is going to cook a big replacement cake for Big Mom at the end of the arc,
which still makes a lot of sense. I think as a possibility.
What if he like does the whole like, okay, I'm going to use I need these ingredients, but I need all the ingredients that you have, and so she does her like soul power. She just like absorbs all the kids for their food powers, and then turns them over. That's the end of all the Charlotte siblings.
That's kind of morbid. That's very Shakespearean. I've cooked all your children into this cake.
That's
very Titus Andronicus.
I kind of like that, but I know that won't happen.
Eat it.
She would.
Well, there is a Game of Thrones storyline where people get baked into pies, so it could happen.
There's also a South Park storyline where that happens.
And it's Big Mamas Andronicus. Yeah, it's gonna be a good play.
Oh my god!
All right, Neo Uwais says. He was just wondering where the Vinsmokes were this week. Buddy, we're all wondering that.
Getting covered with frosting, I think.
Yeah.
Biding their time.
They were in the Shamu splash zone.
Yeah, we see the next time we see them, they're like getting out of cake. They're just covered in it.
I hope they're also eating it.
Yes. Well, Niji
I want everybody to be eating it.
I'm sorry, Yonji will. Yonji definitely
deserve
will.
cake.
They don't deserve
I want
cake.
Judge to never do anything but scowl.
When maybe his mask got thrown off, and we'll finally get to see all of those eyebrows we know he has. And he's still scowling, but he has cake on his head or something. What's next?
Next one. Matt Nolan says, so where is the third rocket launcher? Also, I think that Caesar is going to be a problem before this is all said and done.
Yes.
Agreed.
I thought there were only 2.
No, there are 3.
There were 3? Oh yeah, where is the third?
But yeah, because we haven't really had a third member of the Capone group, have we? It's mostly just been Vito and Gotti.
Maybe Capone's gonna wield it.
Oh, Chiffon.
Hey,
that would be pretty bad.
No, wait, I know one. Pez.
Yeah.
He's the Pez dispenser.
That's his action movie poster.
I'm about to dispense your ass. You tell me you would not watch that movie.
I would not watch that movie.
So you're proposing Boss Baby 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Alec Baldwin is the Pez dispenser. Vin Diesel, what are you doing here? Anyway.
He's in everything. Drew Bebo says, so Luffy needs a new move to defeat Big Mom, right? Oda already showed off Tank Man. Another Gear 4th or a new Gear 5th?
Not a Gear 5th.
Well, I mean, he is, like, with the way they've described Big Mom's powers, it actually seems quite a bit like Gear 4. Like the steel sort of bouncy balloon thing.
I think
to see them fight.
If Luffy has to go all out against Big Mom, which we're still not really quite sure if that's the way that's going to turn out, I feel like we would need to see some sort of step up for him or new moves of some sort, but we'll find out. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I want to see the unstoppable bounce man meet the immovable Big Mom.
It's the new Hokotate.
In front of 93,000 people at the tea party. All right, it's for the wrestling fans. Next one. Dark Leviathan says, could Brook be Sanji's grandfather? They're both pervs and seem to have a past with Germa.
Wow.
That's some Bonnie.
I feel like that would have come up.
Wait, it'll just be Sanji, I am your father. And it'll go just like that.
I banged your mom.
And that's the second thing he'll say.
Yep.
All right, final one comes from Slook. Says, fun fact, Jinbei says in this chapter, in the presence of a Mir emperor, Mir stands for mom in French. Is that true?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool. That's it.
Okay, that is our Piece Together segment. Have we answered your questions? Maybe. Have we addressed them?
We had some fun on the way.
We had some fun along the way. So, yeah, why don't we round off this podcast?
Okay.
This has been the One Piece Podcast, episode 466 for the week of Monday, April 24th, 2017. Thank you all for coming in on the show. Thank you so much to our Patreon subscribers. Please, if you haven't, help support the One Piece Podcast by going to Patreon at patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. If you haven't, also make sure to enter our Whole Cake Island Arc contest. That is going on until this Friday, April 28th. You have a chance. I have added a lot of prizes. If you're in the US and Canada, one lucky winner will receive One Piece Film Gold on Blu-ray DVD. They will receive One Piece Season 9 Voyage 1. That's the first time skip set. They will. You could also receive a subscription to Weekly Shonen Jump for 1 year. We'll be giving out multiple subscriptions. And you could also have a chance to be on our podcast, and one winner will also get the most recent One Piece volume, the first Whole Cake Island volume, volume 82 of the manga. So if you haven't, please enter. All you have to do is write a number in the comment section for the Whole Cake Island page. It'll be in the description for this episode. So that'll be interesting. I wonder which of us is going to win that for amongst us. So yeah, please do that. I also want to mention, Ed, I don't know if you have it in front of you, but Alex was just on a podcast talking about One Piece.
So yeah, Alex was on a podcast called Saturday Morning Cartoons, where he discussed the early part of One Piece, was episode 3, and getting new fans into the series. So check that out. It's the Saturday Morning Cartoons podcast.
Yeah. So I'm assuming that's with people who are not One Piece fans. So it's sort of, how to argue to win them over or something like that.
It's also mourning with a U, like you do at a funeral.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes, make sure
Dark.
you spell it like that. Well, we're mourning Saturday morning cartoons. Yeah, I'm definitely going to listen to that. I'm upset I haven't had a chance to listen to that yet, but I'll do that this week.
So that was episode 148, and that was he was on that a couple of weeks ago.
And one last thing, we're going to have a few exclusive episodes out on Patreon for you. We have a lot of stuff built up from March and April, so please keep an eye on that. It'll be out before the end of the month, so make sure to subscribe. That's the $10 tier and up. So I think, without further ado, Kelly, how could the good people out there find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Karuri.
Sam?
You can find you can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw, and you can find me on the One Piece podcast doing the anime recaps every week, and you can find me on AnimeNewsNetwork.com doing the daily streaming reviews for One Piece, Dragon Ball Super, and My Hero Academia.
Casey?
You can find me on Twitter at Minovsky Article. I'm currently tweeting a lot about the manga Doro Hidoro by Kyu Hayashida. And in a couple weeks, I'm going to be embarking on Osamu Tezuka's Buddha, which I just bought from Right Stuff. So looking forward to that.
Nice. I'm looking forward to those tweets.
I remember that one. That was one of the few manga that they had in my college's library.
Yeah. All right.
That was also my college's library.
That's right.
Stephen, where can people find you?
Please follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus. I try to talk about translation every once in a while. It is tough to go into specifics sometime, especially being so busy. But follow me for various manga-related stuff.
And cat-related stuff.
Yes, lots of cat stuff, too.
So, Ed, how could the good people out there find us?
You are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. Fastizio, and I'm still doing my year-long rewatch project of the 100 Great Anime Films. I've been slowing down a little bit lately, but I did rewatch Cowboy Bebop the movie this past week. It's still a lot of fun.
I love that movie.
Plot-wise, it's very much just sort of a mid-tier episode of the show stretched out 4 times, but art-wise and animation-wise and music-wise, it's A+.
Didn't one of the action scenes from that movie basically get ripped off shot for shot in Naruto or something like that?
I want to say shows did that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Who did that?
That's how influential it was.
Who did that, Sam?
I know Naruto did it at least once. And I think a few other shows. Okay. I don't know. This is I don't know what the story is, but I think it might just be a common thing to reference that fight scene.
Yeah, the choreography.
I mean, the choreography in Bebop is amazing, especially the movie. The fight choreography.
Very cool.
But and as I continue to watch those old DVDs, I will find retro anime trailers apparently to post on Twitter because people seem to like them. That Dragon Ball Z website ad is the most popular thing I've ever tweeted. It's got 200 retweets, and several hundred likes. It's amazing.
It's an amazing trailer.
Anyway, the podcast can be found at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. Support our Patreon, patreon.com/onepiecepodcast. One Piece Podcast is our Skype name. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is our email address. Can subscribe on SoundCloud, subscribe on Google Play, subscribe, rate, and review on iTunes, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And that phone number is 347-497-MAJI.
Maji.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With your questions, comments, or theories. Or big news. Do you have big news? Anyone?
Let's
please? I am going to be away intermittently through May, which is incredibly depressing for me, but we have a really cool and awesome crew who will be filling in for me, including Ed, who is nice enough to host the next couple episodes that I'm away. I will intermittently be around, so you don't know when I'll be here and when I won't, but it'll only be a few weeks. I am moving, and I will be on vacation after that, so just a very busy time. Our 8th anniversary for the podcast, believe it or not, is at the end of May. It's only around a month from now. And I can't believe 2009 was that long ago. But lo and behold, there are people...
Can't believe we ate the whole thing.
Sam, how old were you when we started the podcast?
Let's see, that was 9 years ago, you're saying?
8.
8 years ago, I would have been around 14.
Oh, God. It's not as bad as I thought. I thought you were going to say like 12 or something.
Probably still
9.
That's funny to think about. Like, I was like 16, 17 when I started listening.
Okay, you started listening early.
Yeah, like, cool. Pretty early.
You should have started at 14.
Zach, I'll be honest, if there had been a One Piece podcast when I started getting into One Piece in like 2005, I would have listened to it.
I mean, me too. That's why we started it, Ed.
Yeah.
It's because we're like, how is this not here? Let's do it.
Daizen Shui X, the podcast, was the first podcast I ever listened to in like December of 2005.
And they haven't been called that in years.
I know, right?
So, yeah, please keep tuning in. We have a lot of cool content coming at you.
Next week, are we doing some backstories?
Thank you for reminding me, Stephen. So yeah, next week the manga is off for Golden Week, but we are still here, and Ed will be hosting with very special guests, I'm sure, our backstory ranking episode. So we are going to be ranking, backstories from Robin and Chopper and Nami and so on and so forth, all the way down to the more inconsequential ones, and we'll see.
The Baby 5.
Maybe. I haven't determined whether I'm including that one yet.
That part really is up to you, Zach. Which backstories we include.
I know. Senor Pink, I think, has to be there. That's like a real backstory.
Yeah, but even if you aren't on the show, that is up to you to decide.
Yeah. There's a few, like Usopp. I don't really think had a real backstory, but you guys out there, if there's one that I would be on the border on and you really want included, please let me know. But that's going to be a lot of fun. There's a lot to talk about there, and I'm upset I will be missing that, but I will still be sending in my my backstory rankings and maybe hopefully doing a little cameo on that episode. So please listen in. Ed, thank you for doing that. That's going to be next week. The week after, we return with our manga recap. And I believe we'll still have an anime recap next week as well, as it's a pretty big episode. It's Big Mom's premiere episode. But until then, my name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
And we'll see you next week, everyone. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Kiss that old podcast goodbye.
What a scoop!